Talk about the inhibitors of success. The first inhibitor of success that we're going to talk about tonight is themselves. First and foremost, they get in their own way. Who does that sound like? Every friggin' one of us, right? Every one of us. Negative self-beliefs, our own psychology, destructive behavior. We do stupid things, even as adults. We get in our own way as well. We don't manage ourselves right. We don't manage our emotions right at times. We act on emotion at times. They have it even worse, right? They have it even worse. An inability to manage their emotions. This one makes me crazy. An inability to see the temporary nature of things, right? How many people are scarred from high school? I'm not. I went through some hell in high school, but it's gone in the rearview mirror, in the past. I look about the worry I had in law enforcement, all those years as a cop, and I think, oh my God, what a waste of energy. Because we realize now, because we have a rearview mirror, they really don't, that things get in the rearview mirror. But they don't have that just yet. They lock in on negative experience, and therein lies part of the problem. This number I threw out to the kids today. This number is a number in hours. Any guesses? No, it's a good guess. Kids had really good guesses. They're like, amount of time on a cell phone. I'm like, oh, that's really good. Here it is. Ready? This is the amount of time in a school year they spend in school. Okay? Now, when I said this, they all cringed. And parenthetically, so did the teachers. They're like, oh, right? But they look at that and they go, oh my God, 943 hours a year. However, there's 8,760 hours in a year. So when you put this in perspective, in 4 years of high school, which is 35,000 hours, they're only physically here 3,772 hours. Right? And they kind of get shocked, like, whoa. But here's part of the problem. The little device they carry in their pocket. See, when I was in school, when you were in school, don't want any broad generalizations, but when you were in school, that bell rang, we hung out with our friends, the people we didn't like, the people who caused us misery were not in our lives. That's not the case anymore. What do they have? They have that little box that has Instagram, that has Facebook, that has Snapchat, that has everything, that they can still see the people and problems they have on a regular basis, right? So that number kind of dwindles. But it's important for us, I think, to impress upon them, listen, you're not there that much time. We have to impress upon them, at times, the need to disconnect. Because at the end of the day, what we need to drive home is they will have forgotten most of what happened here by the middle of the summer after they graduate. But yet they're hanging on so tightly. They're hanging on so very tightly. They invert their support system. That technology is killing them. And so that's what we're dealing with, and we have to be aware of that. And we have to try to help them in some way, shape, or form to disconnect at times. That, I would suggest and submit, because you're going to hear me say this a number of times, has to be subtle. Subtlety rules the day when it comes to kids. And I've seen it work over the course of my lifetime, and I'm going to tell you that people used to say to me, it's amazing to me how you can get a guy or a girl in an interview room who stands to go to jail for 20 years based on what you're charging them with, but yet you can get them to confess to you. How could you do that? Communication in a lot of ways, and you're going to hear me say this word, and it's going to take you up a little bit short. And I don't mean it in any negative, connotative way. Communication is very much about manipulation. Okay? And I don't mean that in a negative way at all. But we have to find a subtle way to get through to our kids. I'm not saying manipulate them in a bad way, but certainly use our influence and increase our influence through our communication skills. Extremely important. I consider this an obstacle. Why do I consider this an obstacle? Because rarely is goal setting done right. And that's what I explain to the kids. When it is done right, it's a positive thing. But what typically happens? We set a goal, we don't do anything. When I coach parents, or adults rather, it's the same thing. I make a goal, I can't follow through. I set my goal for this, it hasn't come through fruition. And then we drill down, why hasn't that happened? Because you really weren't clearly defining what you wanted to do, and I talked to them about that. You didn't know why you wanted to do it or really define it and get leverage. Because what do you hear? I want to be rich. Well, what the hell does that mean? And how do you want to get there? And why do you want it? Is it because you want to give back, or you want a boat, you want a Benz? What do you want? Right? You want to be able to donate to charities, you want to be altruistic? Find out what the leverage is. Maybe you'll get there. And then immediately take a step in that direction. That's how you set a goal. And that's what I said to them. And the example I gave them was myself. I said, in 8th grade, if you read my yearbook, it said, the future cop. That's what my yearbook read. In high school, if you read my yearbook, it said, the future cop. What was the action I took the minute I could? I took my first police exam at 18. Took my first police exam at 18. Took me 4 times, 4 different exams. I finally got hired at 19. But I immediately took action. That's how we do goal setting, and that's what I talked to them about today. It's not enough to just say, I'd like to do this. It's more appropriate to say, this is what I'd like to do, X, Y, and Z is what I mean, clearly defined, these are the steps I need to do it, this is what I'm going to do right away. Then you're locking it in stone. And I said to them, when is it time to set a new goal? The minute you accomplish one. Then this doesn't become a negative anymore.